And if you're just joining us on this rainy Tuesday night, you're listening to WZRX, the voice of Oakhaven. I'm David Klein, and this is Nightfall, your sanctuary from the static. Up next, we've got a deep cut from... What the... Sarah! Began this in the booth? What the... Sarah! Began this in the booth?
Is coming. No one is coming. No one is coming.
On the night of October 11th, at 11:47 p.m., the voice of WZRX Radio was silenced. But it wasn't a technical failure. It wasn't a storm. The entire night shift of the small local station, host David Klein, producer Sarah Reid, and intern Mark Tessler vanished. They didn't walk out. They didn't call for help. In the space of 6 seconds, during a live broadcast heard by thousands, they were simply gone. The only thing left behind was the echo of a whisper on a digital recording and a mystery that would tear the quiet town of Oakhaven apart. WZRX was the heartbeat of Oakhaven. A community station, it was a place for local news, high school sports, and David Klein's beloved Nightfall show. There were no financial troubles, no disgruntled employees. By all accounts, David, Sarah, and Mark were happy, normal people. The police found nothing. The studio door was locked from the inside. The equipment was fully operational. There were no signs of a struggle, no forced entry. It was as if they had been plucked from existence. The only piece of evidence was the final 6 seconds of audio. Enhanced by forensic audio technicians, the whispering voice became clearer. It wasn't David. It wasn't Sarah. It was a voice no one could identify, repeating a single, chilling phrase.
No one is coming.
In the absence of facts, theories flourished. The official investigation leaned towards an elaborate, coordinated hoax. But why? There was no motive. The families were devastated. There were no life insurance payouts, no secret deaths. Could it have been an abduction? A highly skilled team, perhaps using a targeted EMP to create the static? Then what? Extracting 3 people from a locked room without a trace? The logistics are a nightmare. And the whisper? A taunt? A more disturbing theory points to the broadcast itself. An audio engineer who wished to remain anonymous suggested the station might have inadvertently tapped into a parasitic signal, something that wasn't meant to be broadcast, something that responded. Listeners began calling in. Reports of strange interference on the frequency for weeks leading up to the event. Phantom voices, numbers stations. Could WZRX have attracted an unwanted listener from somewhere else? A year later, the case is cold. The station is shut down, a ghost of its former self. The families have no closure. The town of Oakhaven lost its voice, and with it, a piece of its innocence. But then, 6 months ago, this letter arrived at the Oakhaven Gazette, postmarked from over 1,000 miles away. The author claims to be a former long-haul trucker who listened to WZRX every night on the road. He says he heard the whisper before. Not on WZRX, on a different frequency, in a different state, 2 years prior. The same voice, the same words. He was driving through Oakhaven that night, And he swears when he heard David Klein's show get interrupted, he knew exactly what was happening. He claims it's not a person. He calls it the static. The letter was dismissed as the ramblings of a conspiracy theorist, but it raises a terrifying and ultimately unanswerable question. If David, Sarah, and Mark didn't vanish into thin air, did something else come through it? The frequency is silent now. The microphones are cold. But somewhere on a lonely stretch of highway, late at night, when the radio scans through the empty channels, you might just hear a burst of static. And if you listen closely, in the space between the noise, a whisker. What do you believe happened that night at WZRX? A hoax too perfect? An abduction too clean? Or did David Klein and his team broadcast a signal that should have never been heard, and in doing so, inviting something in from the static? The case remains open, and the airwaves are never truly empty.